remain, baby, when the going gets tough. And George Watkins displayed that. As we look at the tail of the tape, George Watkins, 27 years old, 5'10" and 155 pounds. Nick Ross, 18 years old, height is 6 feet. He'll have a slight height advantage over George Watkins.
And now we send it back into the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from flash photography. Please refrain from flash photography. Ladies and gentlemen, this lightweight MMA bout is brought to you by Eric Ott and the good folks at RCG Mortgage. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This warrior stands at 6 feet tall, weighing 155 pounds. Fighting out of Woodstock, New York, representing Dutcher Martial Arts. Help me welcome Nick Ross. His opponent fighting out of the red corner. This warrior stands at 5 feet, 10 inches tall, weighing 155 pounds, representing Brooklyn, New York, fighting out of Warriors Nation. Help me welcome George Watkins.
George Watkins, Nick
Your
Ross.
referee for this bout, Kenny Vasquez.
George Watkins versus Nick Ross, 155-pound lightweight division here at Flex Fight Series.
And looks to be home field advantage for Watkins. The Warriors Nation faithful behind us going crazy when his name was announced.
Definitely a huge presence, like I alluded before. Warriors Nation's no stranger to the Flex Fight Series cage. And here we go, round number 1.
Once more, Nick Ross in the blue gloves, Watkins in the red, and action right away. These boys are throwing heat.
They are, oh, nice combination, landed.
Big right hand landed by Ross on a big takedown.
Huge slam. And we're going to get
Ross
back.
is not playing games today, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming out with some intensity off the bat.
Going for a Darce choke. He's going to end this fight. George Watkins
doesn't look like he has the hands clasped.
And now gets full mount.
And Watkins said he wanted to test the grappling. It's being tested here right away by Ross.
Zero feeling out process as Nick Ross now has full mount.
Only 18 years old, but highly confident in his abilities to come out with that kind of intensity as Nick Ross.
Gets out of that predicament and goes right into guard, looking for the sweep. Can open her position with both hands behind the back. Now kicks him off, passes those legs, looking to pass those legs.
Again, a novice rule set here, so no head strikes on the ground, but Ross doing an excellent job of landing some shots to the body and controlling the position so far.
Just looking for opportunities right now. Put himself in quite a predicament standing up, so obviously George Watkins is trying to get his wits about him and look for opportunities to stand right back up. George Watkins, obviously his bread and butter is standing up.
Halfway through the first round here, and Watkins, that experience looks to start to pay some dividends here for him as he's staying calm, cool, and collected underneath, trying to wait out this onslaught, but Ross dominating the action so far.
And Nick Ross being very heavy on George Watkins, keeping him at bay, neutralizing him from standing back up.
And Coach Hansel Urena, a calming presence in the corner of Watkins right now.
Could be looking for a guillotine choke, could be setting up a guillotine choke.
Very aggressive approach from Ross so far, looking for another submission attempt here. Watkins slips it, and now Ross is in side control.
George Watkins just trying to figure out a way to get out of this predicament. Trying to stand back up, get back to the feet, and gain a little bit of respect from Nick Ross. And Nick Ross grabs his back, going for the rear naked choke!
That is a tight rear naked choke!
Looking for the rear naked choke! Looking to end this fight!
Referee taking a close look. I don't know if he's under the chin there because Watkins looks to be surviving. It does look like that choke is over the chin. He's trying to go for a neck crank here.
Looking for a neck crank. Nick Ross looking to end this fight. 27 seconds to go.
And Watkins just might survive this first round. He's defending intelligently and, again, staying calm under there.
Excellent defense displayed from George Watkins. And Nick Ross is looking to end this fight.
Oh, look at that reversal.
Sweep, beautiful sweep, and now gets on top.
So like we said, remaining calm was Watkins on the bottom for most of that round, but the last 10 seconds is able to sweep, get on top, land some shots, and he's not going anywhere.
What an incredible first round. Nick Ross obviously had the advantage with that. It erupts absolutely rocks George Watkins, gets his back, huge slam, and controls him on the ground. Then George Watkins with a sweep to end the round. George Watkins showing that he has no way, shape, or form out of this fight.
Absolutely not, and again, the experience coming into play for Watkins. It'll be interesting to see if Nick Ross is at all affected by just how hard he went after the finish in that first round.
George Watkins is trying to get his wits about him. Obviously, the first round wasn't his round, but he showed some displays of brilliance, especially ending the first round with a huge sweep, getting on top of Nick Ross. He has no way out of this fight. Nick Ross obviously wants to remain aggressive and go with what worked in the first round. Excellent first round from both these gentlemen.
And we have seen the three judges in our very last fight score one round at a 10-8, so they obviously have the propensity to do that. They're willing to score 10-8s here. I think that could have been one as well, but Watkins is by no means out of this fight.
As we go to round number 2 in this very entertaining lightweight MMA bout, here we go.
Round 2. Dos.
Pumping that jab, nice low kick. Pump that jab, nice combination from George Watkins.
We're seeing a more measured pace here from Ross.
Goes for a high kick, and he ties him up, backs him up against the cage.
Ross is a big boy with a lot of strength, and he's showing it off there with that slam takedown.
Huge slam as Nick Ross goes in the side mount, keeping very top heavy on George Watkins.
Wrestling abilities of Nick Ross have been on display here with those two big takedowns so far in this fight. Now again in side control, controlling the action.
Nick Ross, his goal is to get full mount, and obviously George Watkins wants to get this fight back to their feet.
Trying to pop the hips up there is Watkins.
Creating space. George Watkins needs to create space like he's doing. Nice shrimp. Oh,
and that was an illegal strike, and the referee did catch it.
You cannot do that to a ground opponent. And obviously Nick Ross, this is his first debuting bout. Obviously it was a mistake.
And Watkins does look to be okay.
It's like a knee-jerk reaction. When you see your opponent's face right there, your first instinct, especially from months and months of sparring, is to hit that face. Oh!
Big left and a big left high kick!
Huge high kick!
Watkins is throwing heat back, folks.
Nick Ross is rocked, going for that takedown for dear life. Looks to let the big slam as they go. As Nick Ross goes in the side control.
And Ross is out here demonstrating some unbelievable techniques, and what's even more impressive is that he just keeps doing it. The energy is not dying off for Nick Ross.
George Watkins rocked Nick Ross, and Nick Ross instinctively went right for the takedown and completing that takedown.
And even if you are unable...
Go for a leg lock. Going for a leg lock.
Getting close here.
George Watkins defending very intelligently. I don't think George Watkins is in any trouble. And he's going for a leg lock of his own.
And even if Watkins does end up spending the rest of this round on the ground, he's got to draw some confidence going into the third, knowing he does have the ability to hurt Nick Ross.
And George...
That's a beautiful step into top mount for Nick Ross. 1 minute remaining in the second round. Now, Ross landing body shots.
And now looking to rain down punches, body shots from Nick Ross and complete this round. Especially that is going to pay off dividends heading into the third round with him being on top. Could be going for a triangle choke from standing position. Yeah, from a triangle.
Now this is an advanced technique here. If Ross is able to pull this off, that's going to be extremely impressive.
George Watkins defending intelligently.
Again, the experience of Watkins helping him remain relaxed and composed in these dangerous situations. He's gotten himself out of trouble all night as we cross the 30-second mark of the second round.
And to the judges, this is Nick Ross looking to end this fight, or trying to, or attempting to end this fight, and it's going to pay off in the judges' scorecards.
This round, again, much more competitive for Watkins, but it does look like Ross is getting the better of the action, but Ross is breathing very heavily right in front of us, folks.
He's very, very tired. I mean, he's been shooting takedowns all night, utilizing that strength, lifting him up, big slams. That takes its toll, especially on the gas tank.
We did mention that the muscles can become full of blood. Your body can become a little bit sluggish when you're a big guy with a lot of muscle. Going for those big slam takedowns. And the round ends with Nick Ross on top again.
And George Watkins is trying to figure out, what do I gotta do to put this guy away? George Watkins absolutely rocked Nick Ross. And Nick Ross instinctively said, okay, I'm rocked. I'm gonna go right for a takedown, and completing a takedown. And George Watkins was back into square one. You know, glimpses of success from George Watkins, but not being able to seal the deal or not being able to follow up with anything. Nick Ross being able to slow down George Watkins' momentum tremendously with those takedowns. This has been all Nick Ross's fight.
So far it has, but as we mentioned, Ross looking a little bit labored in that corner. Watkins looking calm, cool, and collected. So if you're in Watkins' corner, you kind of have to have that confidence coming in. You know that he has the ability to hurt Ross, but he has to find that perfect shot if he has any hope of winning this fight.
Warriors Nation pays very, very close attention to cardio. They are cardio fiends. They do not get tired. As we go to the third and final round, here we go.
Coach Hansel Urena calling for punches and bunches from Watkins.
Nick Ross.
Cage is locked.
Here we go. Nick Ross breathing. Big
Oh,
overhead
big right hand.
Big
Two of them.
overhead right. Big
Another one.
combination. Oh, he is
Watkins
hurt.
is down.
Watkins is hurt. Goes
Ross
for,
getting on top. He's looking for that rear naked choke again.
going for the back.
And right away, no let up
Oh,
from
nice
Ross.
strip. Nice strip. Gets right back to his feet. But Nick Ross is right on top of him. Oh, goes for a guillotine.
Has the
Guillotine
hands
position.
locked there.
Knee to the
Lost
body.
the grip.
Knee right to the body. And goes for a trip. Huge takedown into a guillotine. George Watkins is not in any trouble whatsoever, defending very well.
Ross now stepping over in the top mount. Coming up on the 2-minute mark of this third round. And if you're in Watkins' corner, again, the only focus must be get back to your feet and land some shots.
Puts in those vines, now very top heavy. He's got 2 minutes to win this fight. George Watkins has got to bump him off. Go to his side, bump him off. More shots to the body, more shots to the gas tank of George Watkins.
Relentless as Nick Ross, landing those shots to the ribs and kidneys. And really smart from Ross here, you know, he knows that you really can't get the finish from this position at a novice rule set, but he continues to score and he continues to look good on the judges' scorecards.
George Watkins has got to get him off, and he's got to get this fight standing. George Watkins is a K1 kickboxer. You know, he's 3-0 as a K1 kickboxer, but so far, surprisingly enough, Nick Ross has been winning the stand-up battle.
And Ross definitely showing a varied and well-rounded skill set here tonight.
Nick Ross's background is obviously in grappling, and when you're fighting a K1 kickboxer, the kickboxer is thinking, okay, if I get into the pocket, I'm going to get taken down. So it makes the kickboxer a little bit more timid than he would be in a K1 kickboxing bout as opposed to a MMA bout.
And we're now crossing the 45-second mark of the final round. Ross still controlling position on top here in full guard.
George has to get back to his feet. He's got to shrimp and get up. Now he's got a wall walk.
Watkins putting himself in a good position here to escape. 30 seconds remaining in the fight.
Nick Ross holding on for dear life. He knows he's about 25 seconds away from winning this fight. George Watkins got a wall walk and go for a home run. Now he's on a single. He's got to do. Oh, complete the double.
That was Watkins. He's got one leg free. Now landing some shots. There are 10 seconds
Goes
left
for
in
a
the fight.
double leg takedown.
Now
Whips
Ross
him up.
back
Huge
to the
takedown.
slam.
Huge takedown.
Nick Ross has been going to the well with that slam takedown all night. He's been dominating action, and you have to think that he won at least a 30-27 decision in those 3 rounds.
Nick Ross wins all 3 rounds. An impressive debut for Nick Ross. All the credit in the world to George Watkins, but this was Nick Ross's night.
And Watkins did what an experienced fighter can and should do. He stayed calm in there. He waited for his opportunities. He did find some success, but unfortunately, Ross just way too much on the ground, on the feet, landing shots, that relentless pressure from the opening bell to the closing bell.
And like I said before, when you're a K1 kickboxer, just like Mirko Krokop, you know, you're more timid of throwing those heavy shots because you're always thinking about the takedown. Oh my God, if I go in the pocket and I throw heavy, or if I throw with a lot of weight behind it, I could be taken down. It makes the very talented striker more timid and think a little bit more before throwing strikes and letting strikes off. Nick Ross was able to utilize the incredible striking ability of George Watkins with that wrestling ability, and he was actually dominating the stand-up because of it. was
He
great.
absolutely was, and something else that probably surprised George Watkins. We mentioned the Warriors Nation guy's a huge cardio guy, but we saw Nick Ross doing this the entire fight. We mentioned on the broadcast a little bit earlier that Ross, if he kept fighting the way he was fighting, could possibly tire himself out. We thought he might have been making a young mistake. That kid just knows exactly how good his gas tank is.
Yeah, and Nick Ross looked exhausted, but landed a huge overhand right and completed it with a double leg takedown.
Time and time again, he did.
What an incredible bout as we go up to the official for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 3-minute rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for our decision. All 3 judges scored the contest 30-27 with your winner by unanimous decision, Nick Ross.
In fact, it is Nick Ross, your winner by 30-27, unanimous decision across the board. He gets his first win in mixed martial arts, starts off his career 1-0. George Watkins unfortunately falls to 0-1 in mixed martial arts. We'll be right back after this quick word from our sponsor.